folks, what I'd really like to be doing today is working on this. I wouldn't even be upset if I was working on this. Old auction truck, he could use some love. I haven't even started on this project and I've been meaning to for months. Honestly, if I could just sit around and hang out with the dogs all day, I'd be pretty happy. I'm not doing any of those things though. I'm in this. As you probably gathered by the thumbnail, we are in a brand new 2025 Ford Bronco Sport. It's a rental with less than 500 miles on the clock, and despite looking like a hairdresser's car, it actually seemed like the best option I had at the time, especially given the other choice was a van. Actually, a pair of vans. Like the sneaker company. It was this thing or walking. There's worse places to be. It seems to run. And it's got a prancing horse on the hood. Oh. Apparently it turns itself off when you stop, which I find quite annoying. Not because it doesn't work well and it probably saves fuel, but it's just the principle of the thing. I would like the vehicle to continue running. Doesn't have a very nice engine sound. As a matter of fact, it has one of the worst engine sounds. Let's try switching driving modes. Maybe we can make it noisy enough you can hear it that way. There we go. Put it into sport mode. That's what I hear. Typically when we go close to Vancouver, I have a service van to work out of, but today, well, I didn't have a service van. I have this rental. Hopefully I can work out of it. That brings us to storage. Now the storage on this particular Bronco is actually quite adequate, at least if you're one person. There's lots of room back there. It does include seating for 5, drop-down cup holders in the rear, seats that fold down if you remove the headrests, and doors that close and open. So what's it like on the inside? Having driven it just about 40 minutes, this is a problem. There's nowhere for my arm to go. See, because there's an armrest here, and if I'm to use it, I cannot sit in my chair comfortably and use the armrests. You see, like I could, yeah, there, I could sit like this. That's, who is this built for? I don't know who fits like that. So that's the first thing that I noticed. There's lots of leg room for me. I can go full back and still reach the pedals. I'm very short, so I think this thing would be short for leg room. And I don't like the armrests. You can put your arm up here, but then this arm's down. This is just, why is it like that? Let's drive in a little bit of traffic and see what that does for us. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we are located near Vancouver, British Columbia in Canada. It rains here, basically all of the time. Also, it should be obvious that I'm on a solo trip, which unfortunately did not give me the opportunity for very many action shots. You can probably go to the Ford advertising department and find some of those, if you really need to see it moving around. My experience driving it is probably best described as lackluster. While it felt very agile and took off well from a stop, the acceleration proved to be underwhelming, and it was less than confidence-inspiring to push it through the corners at high speed. To see why it felt down on power, I pulled into a parking lot to see what we had for an engine. The first thing you gotta do is figure out how to open the hood. I've pulled the lever inside. It's not there. No, there's some sort of air doors here. I genuinely fought with that for at least a few minutes. till I realized something. That's the hood latch, and it just says 2X. And I pulled on that, and it did not once occur to me to just pull it 2 times. Now we get to open the hood. Oh. Mostly I'm just shocked that it doesn't have an engine cover. The keen eye notices 1, 2, 3. No, there's no 4th, and there isn't 3 over there. I drive in a 3-cylinder? That would explain why the engine sounds so hideous. After a short Google search revealing that it was in fact equipped with a 1.5-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder, I moved to a sunnier parking lot to voice my next complaint. Now, they put Bronco across the front, but it should be noted, this is a Bronco Sport. If someone asks you what you're driving when you're in one of these, you have to say, I'm in a Bronco Sport. You don't get to say, I'm in a Bronco, because this is not a Bronco. This is a Bronco Sport. So what makes a Bronco Sport not a Bronco? For one thing, this particular model is equipped with a 1.5-liter 3-cylinder engine. It's very small. It is rated at 180 horsepower, which per cylinder is really good, you know? Like, that'd be the equivalent of getting a 480 horsepower 4-liter V8. That'd be pretty good. However, it doesn't have a V8, it has 3 cylinders. And while it's reasonably peppy in the streets, you may as well put your foot to the floor all the time on the highway. Because it can go highway speed, there's no problem there, but 20% throttle is like the same as 100% throttle. It just doesn't have a lot of, upper range. Now, it's not by chance that I'm driving on the road I'm driving. This is sort of like let's call it an equestrian area. Basically, every property along here has horses of some sort. And stables and barns. Places where a Bronco should feel right at home, given the prancing horse and the heritage of the name. If I'm honest, the Bronco Sport did feel right at home on the paved road near a farm. Much like it would feel at home on any paved road with a low speed limit. Or in any city that was full of traffic on a paved road. As for the prancing horse logo staring at you from the steering wheel, well, comparing this baby SUV to a wild horse is a little like comparing a poodle to a shark. It might be feisty, and it can swim in the water okay, but it just doesn't have the bite. I'm not exactly sure where I've gotten lost to, but wherever it is, it would appear as though school's just got out. And children here don't ride buses, they all walk. This is the longest school zone I have ever seen. I suppose we don't need sport mode while we're in the school zone. Perhaps the S is for school zone. That's why the car is a little bit noisier, but it doesn't go any faster. Maybe it's S for school zone. Now that I'm completely lost, I need to turn on a maps. Now in this particular machine, it will not automatically pair with your phone unless you are plugged in with a cord. Now that can be problematic while you're trying to drive through a school zone, to put the cord in, because you can't really pay attention to what you're doing at the same time. I think that's a safety feature they should consider bringing back in. Because, the wireless is actually quite a good thing. Because it just automatically would tell me. Having to plug a cord in while you're driving is not good. Now, when you turn this knob, you'll see that right here, we get a selection of drive modes. Normal, Eco, Sport, Slippery, or Sand. Now, notably absent in that selection of modes was 4x4 hardcore off-road mode. It is, however, exclusively available in all-wheel drive. But see, I sit out the window and I look over there, and that's a real Bronco. Or at least it's a full-size modern Bronco. And it just sort of looks a little better, doesn't it? The guy inside is enjoying his bag of chips. I don't have any chips to enjoy. Now that I've listed everything that bothers me about the Bronco Sport, what does it have for good qualities? It does have heated seats on both sides, multi-choices for fan control. The fan itself is notably quiet and also quite powerful, but down here you can hardly hear it. It's got a good radio, can make noise. It's got hand controls, as you would expect on something this new. It's got a rear wiper and a front wiper, and it's got a pretty good screen. You can even put on some of your apps, you know, or it'll play FM if you want. I suppose it's reasonably economical. Insert prices here because I haven't looked them up yet. It's not a bad buy. Everything's expensive nowadays. And it's also quite good on fuel, being the fact that it's a 1.5 liter 3-cylinder. It uses hardly anything. That being said, the slushbox transmission is nothing to be desired, and it's gross. Essentially, my list for what I like about this vehicle is well, it's a lot shorter than my list of what I don't like. It's a pretty color of blue. It's a really pretty color of blue. Well, folks, it is my last morning with this Bronco Sport. And after having driven it for a couple days, there's a few things I should mention that I probably missed. Fuel economy, it's really good. It's only got 3 cylinders, it just can't use that much fuel. In town, we were getting 7.5 liters per 100, and here on the highway we're down to 4.2 liters per 100, which I think is really good. The noise in the vehicle itself is very quiet, other than the hideous 3-cylinder engine that you have to listen to, but you hear everything outside quite loudly. You may have just noticed we changed like what tarmac we were on, and now that's all you can hear is the tarmac. You hear every car drive past you. It's just not a luxury car. If what you're looking for is a luxury car, this is not it. Now, that being said, there's parts of this car that I'm going to miss. Like, it's extremely responsive in town. It's excellent for getting out of traffic and into traffic, and, you know, turning the wrong way down to one way. Ask me how I know. But, like, it's just wonderful in town. Now, on the highway, not so. You know, it's just, it's fine, but like, it's not bad, but you get a lot more noise than you get acceleration. I won't rent it again, because I'd rather rent something else, but I'm not disappointed with this rental. And I think if you were looking for a car in the city, and specifically you wanted all-wheel drive because of, I don't know, snow or whatever your reasons are, I don't think this would be a bad choice. The short wheelbase might be a little bit interesting on the ice, but that's just part of driving. Folks, I appreciate you watching. I'm pretty new at car reviews, but if you made it this far, let me know what I could do better in the comments. I appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.